Okay, looks like it works. Okay. So let's start again from where we left off last time. So today we are going to work again on the layers part, and I finally managed to fix the issue regarding the sidebar that I found out the last time. So the issue for the sidebar actually was just the lack of the sidebar provider. So this component here was actually missing, and because of that I couldn't find like the reference to the setup cn function. Problem is that the error itself was not that useful, so it was pretty hard to debug. But anyway, after some trial and error, here we are. So right now I have these layers here, like as you can see they are like the default folders, and I was looking for like changing them with some other icons. So based on the type. So for example, if we have like the group, we are going to use some specific icon in here, and if we have something else, then we are going to use another specific icon. So in this case, we're going to modify what we have in here. Instead of the folder, we wanted to have the group. Is the group or group icon? Let's try with group. Okay. Yeah, so I mean this I think looks better than the previous one. Maybe boxes. Let's see how boxes. But otherwise I'm going to keep the group. I don't know, maybe boxes after all. Yeah, maybe boxes after all. Then we have also others, like for example rectangle in here. So I mean we can use the rectangle horizontal, but this has to be based on the type. In this case, let me see if we can see type. Let's see what's going to. Oh yeah. So we have rect in here. Then we have iText, which is nice. So eventually we could like map them and have a map based or just a function to map the different icons that we can have inside of here. So get icon by type, and then we are going to define different types that you can have. And if we have, for example, the rectangle, we are going to return I'll have this one anymore. Rectangle horizontal, like this, and the default case will be, I don't know, file maybe. Okay, at least for now. So based on that, we are going to change now this icon in here. So instead of using this, we should probably use a component. And the type is get icon by type, layer object type. Okay. This should return. Do we have something like component, right? No. I don't think that component is the right way to return it. But anyway, this should return something no matter what, right? Argument type is not assignable. Okay, so this could be even not defined, right? This should be like, okay. So in this case, yeah, we have the red rectangle in here and the file in the case of the iText. So this is working right now, and I may want to have the iText as well, and we can choose the icon for that would be cool to have the I text is like the interactive text, right? So this one looks good, like type outline, or even this one, just type. And I can remove the others should be fine as well. Type, right? And in here it's going to be type. So yeah, so this is the text and of type I text, and then we have the rectangle. Now I want to check also other types. So let's go back to the scene and create some new elements. I also don't need so many groups. Probably it's fine if just add some elements in here. So instead of adding group 2, maybe I just want to say C and text. Let's create circle as well. Fabric circle, right? So there are both circles and ellipses, right? Ellipse, yeah. So probably I want to see if there is any benefit in having both the circle and also, let's see here. No, I don't want this, because they have different shapes in here, but at the end of the day, like this one, what is this shape here? Is this shape an actual circle? Because like this looks to me like an ellipse. You can change the size of this one also like point by point. Okay, so that's not even the case. It's not even like an actual circle. So to me this looks like they have a series of arcs, and then when you modify the arc, it's just changing the properties in here. So this is not even a circle. Yeah, I don't know, like I don't want to mix like the basic shapes and everything else, because like this one, this should be like a polygon. So wait, oh, I see, it has some extra properties in here. It's not a simple polygon, it's something else. That's interesting. That's a very nice one. So wait, do they all have like some weird property? Yeah, this one as well. They can have like from point to point they can decide like I think we saw this before in MDN in the past and we saw with the curve command. Yeah, exactly, in the curve command we saw it with the quadratic curve. Was it like the Bezier curve? This one. But instead of setting both the slopes in here, you can select just one with like the Q command. Yeah. With the Q command, you just select one point. So is it the same thing? Like in here, they decided just to put this point at a certain distance from those two. And then based on that, I see. Also, this one is just a point that changes. So this allows you to like do a lot of modifications. Actually, I was not expecting that many modifications. That's interesting. That's interesting. Can you do it with everything? Like, let's suppose that we take this shape here. Yeah, like every shape. So let me see if I can see it in something. Yeah. So basically, it's on every shape. So it's a characteristic of every possible shape that they have. And if we go on to the layers, all of them are basically path, right? All of them are basically a path. So they created like a custom path that they can then modify with different options, and based on how many points it have. So if it has like if it's connected, if there is a point and it's connected to 2 more points, then you have this extra property that allows you to just modify it. At least that's my guess, because I see that you can do it basically everywhere. Okay, that's interesting. Definitely, that's interesting. So let's start. let's start with the circle first. So maybe I want to still stay with like the basic shapes. So if I want to create name circle, this one had the radius, I don't know, radius of like 20, and top 40, left 40. Then I'm just improvising here. So we have a circle, right? Okay. Okay, here we are with the circle, and change the scale. Okay. Can change the width. Okay, but the width actually is okay. So the width actually is not changing the properties of the circle. So what we want to have in some cases, like for example for the circle, is to be able to change the radius. So probably they didn't want to bother with all these different kind of properties. And whenever you want to like create like a circle in here, you're not going to have extra. How can I say? You don't have extra properties that you can mess with, because they already like simplified the scaling with the size. So for them, scaling and size is basically the same thing, and it's everything simplified in dimensions. And the second thing is they don't bother with different shapes. Everything is a path. As long as everything is a path, you can modify the points of the path to make them look something else. So that's I think it's a cool simplification. It's actually like a pretty good idea. I'm not sure I want to go that way, but I think it's a cool idea. So let me pick for the circle some icon. Yeah, we literally have circle. Where is it? Layer panel. No, this was side 3. So we want to have the circle. Do they have already like ellipse? This ellipse is not ellipse. No, I think that's not what I'm looking for. So in case of the circle, I need to return the circle, right? In case of ellipse, yeah, we don't even have like the full. Is the ellipse going to be circle, like oval, or what? Can't do that. I don't know how to find it. I don't know how to find it. Probably it's like it's circle should be enough as well. Yeah, at least for now. But what is the type? So my guess is like in here to be like ellipse, right? Because I saw the name, so it should be ellipse. And let me create it here. Like ellipse L. And they have two properties. One is the Rx, yeah, exactly, Rx and Ry, which is the same that we saw basically in the guide. And if I put like this one and add L in here, we're going to have, yeah, this guy here. Let me move it a little bit, like 120. Okay, so we have this one, and right now it has the same type as the circle, like the same operation here as the circle. And then we have grouping. Now, some operations that we still don't have is like manually create the groups and stuff like that, but we are going to work on that. Right now, one extra thing that I wanted to do is to be able to like shuffle them, like move them around. And to move them around, basically it's the same feature as they have in here. You can just move them, right? But if something is a group, you cannot see what's inside of the group. So we have like a slight advantage on top of that, because I can see what's inside of group, and eventually later on I can decide whether I want to ungroup them. So I think that's pretty useful. And I know a library that we can use for that I used in the past, which is this one, view draggable. And basically this one allows you already to like, it's based on top of another library called like sortable, and it's a very simple way of implementing directly like the sorting and the dragging features inside of your project. I don't remember exactly the annotation. This is the thing that like you implement it once and then you forget about it, because usually it just works. So I will try to add it into the project, and let's see. This with the development? No, it's just save. Then we are going to use it basically like this. So we're going to have our array of stuff, or there was something else called like a handle. Yeah, we have this thing. And also like the vmodel list. That's also one thing that we need to consider, having the list of objects inside of it. Or else let's see. Because basically we are going to have this one should be good enough. But wait, it's not like it's already available. I should, after installing it, probably need to import it somehow. Oh yeah, here it is. Like import draggable from the view draggable. Okay, and this is going to be inside of the layer panel. So import draggable from view draggable. Okay, and then we are going to have it in here inside of the inside of our sidebar provider. So I don't think I need this. I don't think I need this, and I want to have the function log for the change, whatever it is. I still need to check it. Okay. Of course I meant console. Okay. And this here, we have the SVG store layers instead of the list. And for each one of them, we should have the template, the template for the item. So we are going to use the template for the item, and then template. And no, the template was in the right place. I want to move the 3 in here to the other place. And we don't have the v4 anymore. We just move the element inside, right? We just move the element like this. Yeah. Now the thing is, okay, this is in here right now, right? Okay, it's not working since we have requested for a handle. Let me remove the handle for the time being. Let's see if anything changes. Yeah. So as you can see, like it's pretty like straightforward, like literally super straightforward. The problem is that in here, do I want to have a handle? Yeah, probably I want to have a handle just because I will want to have the same thing as they have in here, that you double click and you can like you can change the name of the group, of the grouping. So if I want to have that like handle, yeah, this grip vertical looks good. So when you have the 3 element, you have a depth, right? No, we don't. How do you know about the depth of anything then? You don't. Sounds reasonable. So depth should be a number, but yeah, I can also like require for it. So it will be like depth, and it's the current depth plus 1. Right? Now, only if you have a depth of 0, you should have a handle, because I don't want to, of course, move stuff inside of the groups, because like if you have a group in here, right, you don't want to move stuff inside, also because it wouldn't change basically anything, since the grouping is already like decided. So FabricJS will not allow you to change it unless you want to disband the group and change the order and then create the group again, but it's like an overkill to me. So for now, I think I will just make it for the first element. Let's see if we can operate it like this. So Wait, did it create it? Oh no, okay, it's fine. So in here, I want to see if I can have, what's the handle grip? No, what was the name of the icon? This one, the grip vertical. Grip vertical. Okay, and we are going to have a grip vertical in here of class handle. I don't know about the size of this thing, so let me first see. Okay, maybe I also want to have item center. I can do this. Okay, item center. What is this? Okay, I misclicked something. What is this? Oh, okay. So this one will be in the center, but yeah, that's the problem, right? I'm going to have it also in here, and I really don't want it there. So first of all, this has to be available only if the depth is equal to 0. Okay, but originally I'm not putting it into the layer, so here we are missing depth 0. Okay, so now they will be outside in here and not inside. Now the other thing that is bothering me here is that we have this SVG, we have this one, but class handle. Okay, what was the property, like align self at start, right? Yeah, I want it probably at the very beginning. Also, like the size is wrong. So no, I just want the tailwind CSS thing. Cool. It was yeah. So this one, and then we're looking for self align, right? Is it the place self? No. Align, vertical align. No. Self align, align self. Okay, so it's self start. Cool. Self starting here. Self start. Then let's go with a size of 4, maybe. Maybe a little bit too small. Also because this is going to stay in here, but on the other side we have like 32 in here, so we probably should go like this. Too much, but I want to also have it a little bit spaced, so maybe like this, but the PY is 2. What the hell? Where did it disappear? So I don't know, we are going to probably keep it for like this, but I want it to be more size 5 maybe. How about size 5? Yeah, it's better. Size 5 is better. And you can move it only from here, right? No, the handle is not being currently used. Did I remove it from? Yeah, I removed it from here. And there was like the class handle, right? So if I go in here, handle, yeah, handle.handle. Handle.handle. Okay, let's see if this is going to make it work now. So I can move it from here, but I cannot move it anymore from here. This is okay, this is fine. Now, another thing is we need to say, okay, I want this one to have a cursor pointer. Okay, so in this way, I can also like see that the interaction is in here. Okay, this is fine, I think. Now, about the text editing in here, it's not like a major feature that I immediately want right now, but still it would be good to have. Do I want it now or maybe after having some like grouping capabilities? Because like the thing is, so far I'm not even adding stuff to to the canvas without having to add it directly from the code. So maybe one thing would be like being able to select and right click, and instead of seeing this, having the actual menu that allows you to do some stuff. That would be also useful, I think. And I don't know, but the grouping ones are, I don't know, they are like, this one looks to me like a different size, but they are the same, right? I don't know, maybe that's just me. Hey, look at it. This one for the group looks a little bit different, I would say. But anyway, yeah. Can we just have, I don't know, a little bit more space? Too much, right? How about one? I mean, one is better. One is better. So now I can move this, right? Yeah, okay. So this is one thing. Now, the other one would be, can we change the order, or should we focus on the grouping first? Let's focus on the grouping first. I want to add that as a feature as well. So let's start from this. Now, one thing that I know that they have inside of the Shad CN is the context menu, this one. So last time what happened was I had some issues with installing all the packages from like the components, and I found out that you can basically install all of them in one go. So since I'm probably going to use most of them, the ones that I'm not going to use are going to be like removed with trick shaking. I just decided to go and like install all of them, and by doing that, I don't think we have any issue right now with having to install them each time, but we can directly use them. And I want to see, like, first of all, we have in here the default action when we right click onto something, and we need to remove that. So right click menu. So there was one thing. Yeah. Here we go. Enable firing or right click canvas events, fire middle click, and the stop context menu. So this is some options that we want to add to our canvas when we create it. Where do we create it? Canvas element. Here we go. Okay, so like this. Let's see if it's happy about it. Okay, we cannot like right click anymore. So this is a good thing. Now, what we want to have, item key. Okay, let me first fix a small thing in the draggable. Item key? Yeah, item key. The item key for this should be like the, I don't know, the layer name. Or name, just the name should be, right? Let's try with name. Okay, no issues anymore. Nice. So we have the right click, but first we need to have a mouse event. The mouse event will be triggered. It will be triggered with FabricJS, right? So now we are in v5 event inspector. Okay, and this one had some options like mouse up, mouse down, and so on and so forth. So what I want right now probably is mouse down. Yeah, mouse down, and based on that detect what kind of event happened. So here we have all the events. We are going to add mouse up. Yeah. No, it's mouse up. Okay. Mouse up. There will be some event of type I still have no idea. Mouse event, hopefully, and then right. I don't know. And then we are going to see what's the content of it based. Okay, so here we go. Now this says okay, event mouse wheel handler. So there is an I event of type mouse event eventually. Event and D are not compatible. Event, okay. Which is fine, I can just change the type, right? So what are you complaining about is you want an I event of type mouse event? I mean, it sounds reasonable to me, it's fine. If you want it like this, it's okay. But I want to see the content anyway. Even if there is like type auto completion right now, which I'm happy about, I want to see, okay, I want to see this exactly. So when I click on it, in here, we are going to have a button 1 that has been clicked, plus everything else, like the pointer and other information about what I clicked. So if I click something like something that has a target, like in here, we have the circle. Like actually it's the ellipse, but you get the point. Like the name is always the same, right? I haven't changed it. Let me also change it so it will be easier to recognize ellipse. So in here, let me just delete everything. I click and in here we have the current target, which is our ellipse. So we have it in here. Now, if I right click, what happens is that actually I'm triggering the button 3. So what I want is to have the right click to trigger some event outside of the canvas, which will actually open the inspector. No, sorry, not the inspector, the context menu, this one. So one thing about this is they have the context menu with a trigger in here, which is not nice, I guess. And the reason is that they assume that the trigger is the object themselves. So in here, the trigger is this entire thing. So if I click outside of the trigger, nothing happens. But if I click inside of the trigger, they have the custom context menu. So one thing is, first of all, we will not have this kind of thing because we are not clicking in a place, and based on that, we are showing the context menu. What we want to do is open this menu in a programmatic way, because we need to rely on the event that happens on the Fabric canvas. So outside of here, like in here, we're already capturing everything, but outside of here, we have this. Now, what can we do? Like 2 ways. The first one is relying on the trigger, and the second one is not. What should we do? Well, let's start with the easier one, which is the one that I'm not really convinced about, but it should be the easier one. So the context menu is already like installed. I will just take the information about the context menu and put them into the scene. Here we are in the scene, right? So we have the canvas and we have basically everything else around the canvas. So we have also like the gray area in here. Now, ideally, if I selected something here and I right click, I still want to have the context menu for these objects here. Of course, if I'm clicking here, probably I want something else, but still in this area, I want this stuff. Let me see how they do that. So in here, yeah, of course, right? They have everywhere you go, you still have the right click, the right context menu. So, and if you click, if you right click in here, you don't have it anymore, but inside of here, they have it. And I don't know why, I really don't like the way in which it opens. It's like it's from small to big. I don't know, I don't like it. Anyway, so they have it also outside. Let's see if we can just have it by using the trigger, and the trigger in here will be the entirety of the canvas. So in this case, yeah, does it? Yeah. Okay, like it broke everything else basically. As you can see, like nothing works as expected anymore, but at the same time, somehow it's fine. So the idea is, okay, the entire context menu and probably every other class that I'm giving to this div, actually this div is no longer useful, and this will be the context menu. So how about this? Okay, just forget about it. The context menu is not passing the class. So if I go to context menu, in here, it's not passing the classes. So the root is not as useful as I hoped it would be. So we still need to have... now, of course, if I put this one outside and this one in here, the question becomes, okay, we have the trigger, right? And the trigger, it's not so good, because this would mean having both of them in here. Doesn't really work, right? Doesn't really work. And the trigger is, let me see. If we have the trigger only as a canvas, right? That one doesn't work either. I see. So, yeah, ideally, the context menu should not change. So if I have the context menu, that should not change the way in which my page is being displayed, right? But it actually does. So here, as we can see, it works. It works, but this is completely broken. And the reason is, let's see. Here we have the full size. Here we have flex H full, but it's not like extended or whatever. And in here we have span data state closed. Okay, so this one is, yeah, this one is the span of the context menu. So start, pointer, event, close, and so on and so forth. So menu trigger, context menu trigger, right? So this one doesn't have any specific property. So it's just using whatever there is on top of it. Let me see if we can do anything about that. Because we have context menu, right? So we are interested right now in context menu trigger and the context menu. Context menu root is not giving any property, any class, anything to the content, which is correct. But now I need to figure out how to extend it more than just the span in here. So that would be like the easy solution, the immediate solution. You just wrap it around and it should work, right? It should work. Problem is when it doesn't. So what if we just give some properties, like for example this to the trigger itself? Maybe the trigger itself will somehow make it work. Okay. Okay, so you cannot pass the properties to the context menu, but if you pass them to the context menu trigger, then it's going to work. Oh, Sionix, hello there. So in here, right now we have it with the easy solution. So this means that we don't have to manually implement it with the event anymore, meaning that the scene in here, when we have the mouse up, this we don't have to use it anymore for the right click, which is a good thing. I don't need to use that anymore for this, and it automatically just works because of the shadcn library. So that's nice. Let's remove these. And now what we have to do is we actually can do some actions in here, right? So in here we can click on this. Oh, look at this. We have the right click, but in here there is no right click. Like if I do it inside of the canvas, this is not it's not working. Now, few reasons could be for that. First of all, like we changed the canvas, right? And if I do this, what will happen? Is it going to... It's not registering the event. Stop context menu. Why would you do that, right? Okay, perfect. Now it works. So if we give them like some properties in here inside of the canvas, this is going to override the default behavior and it's going to stop propagating the events. So whenever you click on the canvas itself with those properties in here, this is going to say, okay, whatever events is there, I'm just going to stop it there. But what we actually want is for the event to go from here outside to propagate, because in here, the event would actually generate our submenu. Okay, so this is fine. This is fine. I'm just going to remove everything. Forget about this thing. Event, no, I don't think so. So it's fine. So it's fine. Now it's going to be like this. Cool. Now, our goal is to be able to say, okay, I'm selecting multiple elements and I want to be able to group them, right? I want to be able to group them. So how do we do that? How do we do that? Well, first of all, whenever we open the context menu, we need to say what properties are inside of the context menu, right? And those properties should be based on top of what objects are selected. What objects are selected. So if I have multiple objects, let me see how Vector, for example, handle this kind of stuff. Because if you have multiple objects, right, you can group. If you have only one, you cannot group, which, I mean, of course makes sense. Like you cannot just have multiple objects and okay, wait. Oh, this has the ungroup. Okay. So far so good. So far so good. Like it makes sense. This means that for me here I need to detect. First of all, we will have a set of options, right? So in here I can see like context menu item, and they have different options, but some of them could be disabled. Let me see if we have a little bit more of a complex example, because in here, right, they have some disabled options, some stuff that you can add also, like icons to it or other things, or even submenus. And the code for this, yeah, it's pretty complex in here. And we have, oh, here we go. Forward inset disabled. Okay. Inset disabled. So this is how it does the disable one. Okay. And we could do the same thing basically for other commands. We could do this with another, with basically all of them. So let's suppose that I think I want to do it with a composable, because otherwise it could be pretty messy. Like in here in the scene, we are going to have already a lot of stuff, right? Probably I'm going to remove some examples, so later on it could be like less full of different things, but I may want to have a composable for that. And I keep forgetting about the composable syntax. Use composables, options. No. Just use composable in view. So this is very nice. Okay, now I just want to have this. Oh yeah. Use event. Yeah, this is just a starting function. This may seem like very easy, but I don't want to mess it up. Composables. And now I want to have use context. Is it going to be for all of them? Like use context menu. At least for now, it's going to be like this. And the composables are TypeScript. Yeah. So this will be use context menu. And in here, we want to have a few options. And then we are going to return those options as soon as they are defined. So let's see. First of all, the options. And the options will be an array of type context option, maybe. And there will be a label, which will be a string, I guess. And eventually it could have children, I already saw, because context option, this is also a possibility in case they have them. And whether it's disabled or not. And that's a boolean. And then one more thing is like the on-click function. And this will be I don't know, something like this, I guess. And what we want is options. Options will be, yeah, context option like this. And what we want is to find those options. Okay, and also update them. Okay, I think I know how I want to handle it, but like I'm not 100% sure, so probably we are going to iterate over it. So I want to have a function called update context options. And this update will be basically based on the canvas. So let's suppose that I'm going to pass the canvas reference to the composable. So this thing here, this would be like, I need to import Fabric, I guess. Yeah, so let's pick it from here. And I want to have a Fabric canvas. I want to have a Fabric canvas, and I'm going to use this as a reference for whenever. Oh, I see. For whenever the active selection is changed, can we even track that? Before selection clear. Oh yeah, of course. Wait a second. We have selection updated. Okay. So we have those three options, right? And we had them also before, by the way. Selection. Okay. And they are in here. So let me just copy paste them. The reason is like in here we are going to use them for generic purposes, like inside of the scene. The scene will just use them for like a generic purpose. For the composable, for the context menu on the other side, use context menu, we are going to use them, how can I say, for the sake of knowing what is changed and how to update the context menu content based on what is changed. I don't know if that makes sense. So what I want to say is whenever we have the use composable, we are going to use the canvas, and the canvas itself, okay, wait a second. Yeah, so we are going to do this. Let me first write it down, and then, okay, we are going to have it like this, I guess. No argument expected. Well, of course, because I'm going to use the canvas object that I'm passing anyway. So actually this doesn't even matter here. I just wanted to make it so that, okay, it's going to call some event. All right, I don't even care about the event here. I just need to be able to say, okay, these three events have been triggered, and then since they have been triggered, you need to update your context options. Now, if the menu is open or not, that's a different thing, but that doesn't matter to you. You just need to update your context options. So now from that we need to take can I get active objects, right? So first of all, if we have multiple objects, wait, what is the difference? It was just returning an array, right? Yeah. So if we have, let's start simple. So actives, if there are actives, let's put it in a different way. If there are non-actives, if basically you didn't do anything, for now, we are just going to return. No, wait. First of all, we need to like clear up the entire options thing. So options like length equals to 0. I'm not going to change like the reference, so I'm not going to put this one as let as of now. And also I think that what I need to do here is actually put it as a reference, otherwise it's not going to work. So how about I'm doing it like this, context option, what am I messing up here, right? Yeah, it's fine. So options, let me change options value length to 0. Okay, and this basically will just reset the options that we have. What do we have in other cases? So if we have some actives, right? If we have some actives, we are looking for the grouping options right now. So if we have them, but they need to be more than one. If the actives length is greater than 1, then we want to be able to enable. We want to enable the grouping options, right? So we want to say value. We are going to push the group options. So something that has the label group on click. I don't know, some grouping functions, some grouping function that I need to define. Yeah, I need to define that function anyway. So function on group, and then for now I'm grouping. Whatever. And this will be the on group, right? So I'm saying, okay, this function here, yeah, this function here, when on click is triggered, it will actually trigger the on group. And the on group is going to use as a reference anyway, whatever it is inside of the canvas. So it should be already fine. Now, next thing is disabled. Well, false. Because you can do that, right? I see. Wait, I'm having like two conflicting ideas right now. First of all, by introducing disabled as a field, I'm assuming that sometimes it will be disabled, but it will be still visible for the user. But this is in direct conflict with what I'm doing in here, which is basically I'm filtering whether to put it or not. Okay, so the only thing is like actives, if the disabled is only if the actives length is equal to 1. But no matter what, I'm going to put it inside of it, inside of the options anyway. So disabled and then children. Does it have any other option? No, it does not. No, it does not. Okay, perfect. So in this case, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, and let's first of all return the options. And now I want to say I want to use it. So I need to go to the scene, and in here we have the unmounted, but before the unmounted we are going to use some stuff from our new composable. So use context menu. Nice. Expected one argument. Sure. Okay. Yeah, I totally know why you complain. I know. And I have no guarantees for you, because I have no guarantees that whenever I am going to initialize it, then you're going to have the canvas. I mean, most likely it will be there, but no, wait, it doesn't even have to be there in the first place. So I see the point. Well, how about okay, I think we can find another way around it. So this will be the store, right? Because I'm expecting that it could be of type of use SVG store. Do you complain about it? Let me think. What if I do store dot something right now? Do you have no, you have no idea where are you, right? Absolutely not. Okay, like Pinia store type. What do you do in this case? You have a type of, right? No? Pinia store type of. the return type or something like that was let's see this guy. Return type of okay. So I remembered something around those lines, but I was not sure what was that. So this one will be the use SVG store. So now you should know that you have a canvas inside eventually, but you don't know whether it will be there or not yet. Now the thing is, what happens is we can update it. We can create a function. We can say, okay, I'm going to create a reference for the canvas, and this reference for the canvas will be of type like fabric canvas or null eventually, and starting from null, right? Now the thing is, canvas exists, and then I will create another function, update local canvas. So this will take a canvas from fabric canvas and say that canvas value. Okay, I messed up something. Why don't you recognize value? You have a reference in here, right? You do. Cool. Not so cool. And also, whenever you update the local canvas, that's the moment when you add actually, like when you register the events, and not on the unmounted. But it's fine. It's fine. We can. The second part for the events is not a big deal. The reason is like, what is going on with you here? What is wrong? Like if I do c dot value, right? You do recognize that, right? Okay, fine. Oh yeah, of course. I didn't see that we are using it also in here to update the local canvas. So we already have a name called canvas, and we need to say like c or something, and then canvas.value, it's going to be equal to c, and then we can like call the function for registering register events. And when we do that, we actually want to have the events that we had in unmounted, and we don't need in unmounted anymore. And then we are going to replace actually canvas with canvas value, right? So, oh, it's possibly not. It's fine. If there is no canvas value, then you can complain all you want. So, error. There is no canvas. There is no canvas when registering the events, and then we return. So now nobody should complain about it. And also I'm going to say register the canvas, register the events. This function should be private. Actually, I don't want it to be exported in any possible way, and update local canvas should be in here. Now this means that I can get my values from here. Again, if there is no canvas, where are you? In here. Okay, I'd rather have multiple things in here that signals that when updating the context options, I'd rather have multiple console errors all around the place, just to be sure that everything screams at me if something is wrong. Otherwise, it's just going to be, I'm just going to look for errors that does not exist. So now we have the store in here, right? Now the question is, do we even need it? Because I was assuming that I'm going to use the store, and then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to pass, whenever the canvas is ready, I'm going to trigger something, and then it's going to register the events. But right now, as things stands right now, I don't even need this anymore. So that was nice, but I'm going to use the update local canvas and the options from here. And this is not needed anymore. This means that we have available inside of our scene a function that when called, this function will update the canvas value in here and then register all the events. And when all the events are registered, then we should also update our context options, right? And in here we have, whenever something happens, you basically like update your context options. So this is fine. So this is fine. Let's close this, update canvas options. This is fine. So when do we want to do that? We want to do that when we create our canvas. So here we are. Here we assign our canvas to the store and update local canvas. Now, let's see. First of all, let's see if this is going to trigger. So I just want to have a console log somewhere just to say context menu if this is going to trigger. And console log registered events. This would be nice. Okay. Okay, we have registered events in here from the use context menu. So this appears to have worked, but since it happens on the first try, I hardly believe that everything is correct, and therefore something else must be not working correctly, and we will find it. Joking aside, I hope that now should be fine. Okay. So what do? We now have probably we have options whenever the canvas gets updated. But let's have a confirmation of that, shall we? In here, when we have the register events, update context options, right? Okay, perfect. I want to print my options just to say, okay, these are like options, and here we go with the options value, right? That's about it. So these options should not be displayed here. Yeah, perfect. Whenever I'm changing the selection or I'm doing something in here, this is going to say what options do we have. And as you can see in here, we will have the option for a group, which is like disabled false, and this is fine. Then I'm going to disable it, and let's go in here, and there is here the disabled group again. This is disabled false. Perfect. That was not expected. As how did you even get in here? If not active, scans option actives length. If not active length, okay, I don't want to have anything, right? How did you even get there in the first place? Okay, perfect. Yeah, that was what I was expecting. So let's see. Registered events. This looks fine, meaning that now what I need to do is we need to go in here in the context menu content, and we need to generate those items based on the options that we have. So in here I know that I will have like the options, because options are from here, right? And they are of a specific type, which is the context option. Let's export this one just to be extra sure. So now we are going to say for each of the option in options, with key being the label of the option itself, we are going to have the option label. We are going to remove everything else. And let's see. Yeah. As you can see, we have the group. And for a moment, you can see when you click it, it's I'm not sure it's easy to see, but for a moment when I'm selecting and I'm deselecting objects, you see that the context menu doesn't have anything inside of it anymore. You see, it becomes like a little bit smaller for an instant, and then it closes. So the reason for that is the same thing that we saw before. Basically, I don't have, where is it? It's in here, yeah. So what I don't have right now is inside of the use context menu, a case for when they are completely deselected. Because what I'm doing is, if there is nothing active, just return. What I want to do is disabled whether this is the case. So what we're doing is, okay, I'm going to say all the options are reset from here, and now I'm putting these values only like the group value will be always there, but it's going to be disabled only if the active's length is less than 1. This will keep the selection in there, but yeah, as you can see, it's not like closing anymore. It's like it's not getting smaller at least. But the thing is, no matter what, I have no selection right now, but it's still enabled. And that's not nice. That's not nice. We should do something about this. So first of all, like, let me see these actives so far, because my assumption was, yeah, we have objects, but okay. Hello. What's going on? Let me see. So if I select something, I get the group, right? I deselect, I still have the group. So, and the group is clickable in all cases. But if I reset, there is no option. There is no option because we never called it in the first place, right? So when are we calling the update context option? We are doing it only when there is something that happens in here. And this is not okay. What we want to have is just an extra call. Just an extra call in here at the very beginning. So if we call it at the very beginning, as you can see now, I right click and I can see it, but it's still enabled. It's still enabled. So let's check. We are going to go in here. We have already like the console log for the options, right? Let's see. So if I just refresh it, I should see the options at some point, right? Yeah, in here. Options disabled, true, perfect. So what did we do? Like we completely ignored it when we had to put it into the scene. The value is correct, but if you don't set it, it's not going to work. So in here we have like disabled, and the disabled should be option.disabled, okay? Okay, perfect. Oh, perfect. As you can see, like immediately I'm selecting in here, it's I cannot click on it. I cannot do anything on it. But then if I select multiple objects, this becomes available again. Now I deselect, it's not available, which is cool, which is very cool. Now we have some grouping here. We have only one grouping here, which is this one. And my goal would be to ungroup it. Okay, so I want to be able to ungroup something. Now let's go to the context menu and let's create first of all the options for the ungrouping. And the options for the ungroup on ungroup. Oh yeah, I forgot also one extra thing. Let me comment just very quickly this one. We have this function, right? The ongroup function, but I haven't tested it yet. I haven't tested that the onClick works. And we need to test it by doing this option onClick, right? So by doing this, and let me like select multiple in here. Perfect, I'm grouping. So this is also working as expected. Now let's do the ungrouping part, which is in here. And this would be on ungroup, right? On ungroup. Perfect. Let's have another function on ungroup. I'm ungrouping, right? Okay, this is fine, but I actually want to also implement it. First of all, when is this disabled? This is disabled in the same case as in here. So we have one group in here. And everything else is separated, right? So if I do this and I try to do the ungroup, I cannot do it, clearly. I select multiple objects, I still cannot do it, clearly. Now I select this one, I can do the ungrouping, but as you can see, if I select multiple of them, I still can do the ungrouping. So my understanding of how this thing is working and how it's going to work is this will be active. This will be enabled as long as there is at least one group. So has at least one group. This naming I don't like it. I will change it later on maybe. Actives, and then I need to filter and say whether there is at least one of them. So instead of the filter, I can go even with the find element, right? Such as element has a type, and the type, yeah, did it have is type? Yeah, it had is type as well, right? So is type group. So find this one. What is this returning? I keep forgetting. Like, find is going to return either the type itself or undefined. Okay, can you just I don't know, coerce it into something? I mean, it's fine. It's fine if it has at least one group. But this one cannot be assigned, of course, to a boolean. So it's like this: true or object. No. It's like either this or this. So okay. Now this will allow us to have what if it has at least one group, it should be enabled. Let's see. So we have it. In this case, wait, it's the opposite. Disable if it doesn't have at least one group. Okay, so let's take this one. This one cannot be either grouped or ungrouped. It's just a single object. Let's see if you have two objects, you can only group, which is correct, and it says I'm grouping, or ungrouping is disabled, which is correct. Now let's take this one again. It's fine. This one, perfect. This one is working as expected, because this is the only group that we have, and it says I'm ungrouping, right? Okay, fine. So now we have the few extra features that we need. So for example, we have the moving layers. We can see the layers inside of it. I think I can remove from the layer the type, right? So if I go in the tree, I have the object type in here that I may not want anymore, right? So let me remove this thing. Okay, so we have just the names and the single objects. There might be a little bit too much space in here, but I will handle that later. And in here we can do the ungroup. So I would start with the ungrouping part actually, because I wanted to remove it, but this will not probably change how the layers are looking like right now. So in order to ungroup something, I think we did some tests before. Where was it? I think it was in the SVG examples here. It was, yeah, group and ungroup. And yeah, okay, perfect. So this was the create group part, and this was the ungroup part, right? Yeah, okay, perfect. So what I wanted to do is get active the ungroup, get active object to active selection. I see. What if we have multiple? Does it work in that case or not? So let's see. First of all, we want to call that function inside of the use context menu. I mean, probably in here we should call a function that is inside of the SVG store instead. Right? Should we? Should we do that? Because if that's the case, I'm not sure how much reusable the code will become later on if I decide to do that. So we have two options right now. First one, I can do everything related to the SVG store in here. And I'm going to say like group something, okay? So the selection will be automatically grouped. And this would mean that inside of the SVG store, I would keep all the functions that are related to modifying the elements inside of it. And that would be a nice thing. That would be a nice thing. But at the same time, this means that this context menu is going to be bound to be to be for the SVG store, and that's it. And it's only going to work for the SVG store. The other way around it is we are going to pass again here the store, and based on the type of the store, this is going to have different like properties and stuff. I don't know, like both ways I think are fine. Like it really depends, because I don't want to like start over engineering this thing from the very beginning. This could have like multiple uses later on, but I don't want to over engineer it right now. But at the same time, if I'm going to put the SVG store in here, then why do I put the update canvas, update context options in here, right? I mean, it's still, no, it's still fine, okay. So yeah, it's fine. I'm going to do it just in this way, use SVG store. So now we are going to have the group active selection, and this will be the ungroup from active selection. So the reason why I'm calling it like this is this operation basically are, if I go in here and say group active selection, right? What is going to happen is whatever I have, so the definition of that is all the all the active objects become one. But the point of the other one, which is, what was the name for that? Ungroup, right? Ungroup from the active selection is not all of them are going to become to be ungrouped, only the ones that are actually grouped, and I don't do it even like recursively, meaning that I'm doing it only the first time. So yeah, if that's the case, first of all, basic case scenario is if there is no canvas, cannot group the active selection. The second case in here is going to be, it's going to start in the same way. You cannot ungroup from the active selection, right? Okay. Now this is being called in the context menu, right? Yes. So you are happy about it, I guess. But I need to take the code. Where was it? I think it was this one, right? Yeah. So this canvas get the get active object to active selection is not existing. Wait, what kind of code did I get? The ungroup one. Okay, let's forget it for a moment. Let's start from the grouping one, hoping that this will like turns to work like better. Okay, it's still complaining. So first of all, let's change these. I want to confirm that the Fabric version that I'm using is 5.5. Okay, so it's not version 6 something that breaks everything regarding grouping, active selections and stuff like this. Property to group does not exist on type object. Are you sure about this? Are you really sure about this? Did you mean group? No, I think I did not. This is the object, right? This is the typing for the 5.39 to group. You have the to group, and it's from the active selection actually. So it's not taking the object, it's taking the active selection. Oh man. So they have this active selection thing, right? That can be transformed into a group. So high level function that automatically adds it to a canvas as the active object, meaning that as we saw before, like when you create a group from a set of objects, what happens actually is those objects needs to be removed from the canvas, otherwise you're going to have duplicated them, because the group will be created but the old objects will still be there. So I'm wondering whether the typing here, the typing with the to group, it's based on the active selection, right? But the active objects is returning. Okay, can you just... Not really, right? Not really. I mean, probably this thing would even work, but you're not so happy about it, right? So if I group it, it doesn't really work. It doesn't really work. Group active selection is not a function. Group active selection is not a function. Are you sure about this? What do you mean it's not a function? I see it. Group active selection. Did I made a typo? SVG store, group active selection. And here it is. Let's try again. Okay, I'm grouping and it works. And it works. As you can see, it does not update stuff in here, which is fine. At least for now, it's fine. I don't mind. There are some other things that needs to be discussed eventually, like why the hell this thing does not work with controls. That's a different issue, I guess. But yeah, I guess it works. So let's find out if the ungrouping works as well. So the ungrouping means that if I take the active object, actives will be this canvas get active objects. For each one of the actives for each one of the actives, if the active is type group, then we are going to make the first ungrouping, right? This means that we need to do this, and I need to say active. Wait, what did it do? To active selection. And I'm going against the typing. I don't know, man. The entire thing about like the selection thing it's not very clear to me. Like if I do the ungrouping, right? Now it works. Now the ungrouping works. But again, look at this. Like I don't know if it's like visible enough, but like everything in here is broken, right? The controls are not working anymore. The controls are not working. And I have no idea why. So the thing about it is we need to figure out a better way to do it, probably by doing it ourselves, like creating the groups and removing the objects. Like the first time that I did this test was with this, and I remember that where was it? Like create group. There was another way of doing it, I think. So you see, like in here, so there are a couple of things that are really not adding up. So when the FabricJS library has been updated, a lot of stuff changed. But what I can't figure out so far is, first of all, why? Why did they change so much? And second, like, this is like changing a lot of types. So get active objects is different from active selection. This is some code that I found online. But right now, the get active object is returning actually an object, is not returning a selection anymore. Meaning that if I want to get the selection, get active, selection? Active selection. So, ungroup on canvas. What destroys a group? Wait, what? What is this thing? Wait a minute. Ungroup on canvas. You serious? So, but there is nothing in here, right? Wait. Active as fabric group. So let's pretend that this is a group. Then you can call the ungroup on canvas method. Okay, let's see if the ungrouping at least is working now. So this is the one with the group, right? If I right click and press ungroup, okay. Where are you? What happened? What is this thing? Why are you like this? Did I need to do like the request render all. Did I mess up something in here that you like didn't like for some reason, or I don't know. Like this is the ungroup, right? So I have a group in here. I'm trying to ungroup it. And wait. Okay, so before the rendering, so after the rendering, what happens is everything is gone. After the rendering, this is gone. I have no idea where it is, why it doesn't exist anymore. So let's check out the documentation of this thing from the code, right? So this destroys a group and restoring the state of its objects, right? Why I have this feeling that this is not doing what it says it does, unless this is ungrouping and returning the group, and then I need to like put it back. So like I don't know, temp group or whatever, temp group. So this will return me this the temporary group. Then I will just add it to the canvas again, or something like this. Add the temp group, and then I will request the canvas to re-render. But that will return a group, so that doesn't make sense, right? No, in fact, it does. Wait. What is this thing? Huh? What is in here? What is on this top side? It's hard, man. It's hard. Nothing works as advertised. So ungroup. There is nothing else for the ungroup. What do we have with the to active selection? Okay, to active selection. So make a group in active selection. Remove the group from the canvas. The group has to be on the canvas for this to work. What is the difference? Like, what is your goal? This will create an active selection, right? Wait, we did have something with the active selection before, which was the to group, right? I don't know anymore. So let's suppose that we have this as a group. So we know that this is a group. We are going to do to active selection, right? What's going to happen right now? Okay. This is, wait, what? Okay, but it's still broken. It's still broken. I mean, it worked, but it's still broken, right? It's going to say still, so yeah, I'm just, I just forgot that we started from here. So yeah, I was surprised that something is like rendering at all, but yeah, we started from here. So this thing for the active selection is still not working as expected. But my question is, what is this thing right now? What is the active selection anyway? So if I say like const active selection, right? And I try to investigate what's inside of it. What is this thing? Okay, I guess that's the line that, yeah, that's the line that I was looking for. Okay, doesn't have objects inside of it. Active selection version 5.4. This is hilarious, man. Like, this is version of what exactly? This is the version of the object. This is the version of the package that I'm using, because in here I'm pretty sure I have Fabric 5.5.1, right? The types for Fabric are available for 5.3.9, and the type of this active selection is actually, like, the version is 5.4.2. Please just tell me you're like using random numbers at this point. I hope it's just random numbers, because nothing makes sense in here. So let's suppose that the active selection, because they had an example. I remember seeing an example of it in a different, like in a previous version, that was working, right? Let's go back to when we had our example in here. We had the serve, right? Serve. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So if I go on port 8000, right? Okay. Now, I need to modify the text because I want to have the example for the grouping, right? So in here I have canvas.addText. Perfect. What was the name? ABNC, right? Okay, perfect. So I want to have this, and let's remove the text. As I mentioned, let's remove the text. Okay, perfect. Now, if I group stuff in here, right? That used to work before, right? We moved assuming that this was working. Yes. Perfect. So this works. And when you ungroup it, wait, yeah, this works again. And now I can also change the size. So those objects are not broken. Those are not broken. And we are using the version 5.5.1. Very cool. Very cool. Very nice. We like it. So what is the difference between that thing and what we are doing right now? So now that we are sure that this works, at least in the CDN version. Let's see. In here, when we created a group, we get the canvas of type, different from this warning, no active selection, okay. Then we are saying, okay, get active object to group. So not the objects themselves, but just the active object, right? I mean, fine. Which is what we have right now. Which is exactly what we have right now. So let's go to our example in here, and let's suppose that we want to group something, right? We are going to group them, and as you can see, the controls are not working. Man, that's confusing. That's confusing. Any difference in how I am allocating my canvas? Setup. Okay, I am creating. It's just a canvas, nothing else in it. Should be literally the same version. So the problem is that if I cannot even trust this version, like they having like the same version, this should be like should be clear that it should work, right? So on select, the selected objects become like that, and you're not using the selected objects anyway, right? If I go in here, yeah, they are not being used. They are just like there for the sake of being there, nothing else. So this is challenging because I have no idea why the controls are not working, honestly. Like whether there is something on top of it, some event that is being like catched, but I don't think so. So this should be like the very basic example that I have on the other side with this thing here. Right? So if I have what could be the reason? Wait a second. Let's have the same example in a different page. And I'm going to call this like the test page. Okay, fine. Let me have just the template. I need to be able to reproduce it somehow, because otherwise it's just randomly going. Let me see. We just need the buttons here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to reproduce this case, the same exact code, lang ts, and see what's going to happen. Okay. Have a bunch of errors. Of course we do. Let's see if there is anything else. Yeah, HTML here. I don't need anything like this. Okay, we should have reduced like this is not useful. Perfect. So Now, what we have is the setup function, which should be called on the unmounted. And this could also be related to view, honestly. Like at this point, now that I think about it, this could even be related to view. And the reason is, if you, for example, are using like canvas without using it as a reference, the canvas could create some kind of issues. But if you don't use it as a reference, but use it as an object, you will not have this kind of issues. So for example, if I multi-select something right now, can I change? No, I still cannot. So yeah, I believe that even if I like replicated this example, even if I replicate completely this example here, it's not going to work anyway. It's like the canvas in here would be anyway a reference, right? So let me start with a let. This is not useful. Add with update. Add with update is, I don't mind it here. Create a group. I mean, it's fine. This is fine as well. These functions here are not going to work if I put them like this. Click. Gun group. Click. Create group. Okay. This is not useful. This is not useful. Okay, I think I can remove this stuff. I'm not even sure this is going to work like that, but I mean, let's try. We go to the test, right? Test page. Test page, no apparent issues. I have multi-select, I press group. And it works. Like, how does that work? And then I press ungroup and everything is fine. Okay, so good news, at least very good news, is it's not a view related issue. I mean, it still could be a view related issue, but it's something that it is manageable to make it work inside of the application. So that's the good thing. So whatever is going on in here, there's another issue somewhere that prevents me from using the actual object that I'm like changing in here, right? Because if I go and open the test page in here, everything works as expected, right? Everything works as expected. So this is fine. This is okay. Now, now we need to figure out why this doesn't work on the other page. So let's see. If I create the canvas, right? What is the basic difference that I have from this stuff? Not canvas, get active object. Like when they have, like, let's focus only on the create group, right? In here, the group is actually created, but then I cannot interact with it. So is it because of how? I don't think it has anything to do with the setup itself. Like the setup function in here is going to create the canvas, and it creates a new canvas from the canvas element. So that part is fine. And then nothing else happens. So it's a very simple code, actually. So I'm trying to make PowerShell script that talks of current private device was off. I think that's not very easy to do. Okay, that's great. Why PowerShell script though? But it's an interesting project you have there. It's an interesting project. So in here, this thing was working, but if we move to this, the group active selection is actually not going as expected. I mean, it still works, but this reminds me kind of the issue when for example, we have right, when we have this. So if I create the canvas and I create it to be a reference, what will happen is since it's view is using a proxy, like view proxy, view component, view ref proxy. This thing here. So basically, whenever we have a reference, we are creating like this variable, which is used like this in order to have the possibility to have the reactivity part. Now, could this be related somehow to this? Because I'm pretty sure that if I like print this canvas, for example, in here, this will not be a proxy, right? This should not be a proxy. Where is it? So let's suppose that's actually a proxy. That's actually a proxy. So cool, we know why. Cool. Now we know why this happens. Now we know why this happens because we are adding objects to this and the canvas doesn't really like it. Canvas doesn't really like it. So we need to get rid of this and what do I mean by that is we cannot have just a reference inside of the store. So in here we have like somewhere is canvas, right? Canvas, yeah. So this thing actually generates a reference. But if I don't do the reference, right, am I going to lose the pointer to the canvas objects in the next refresh? That's my question. If this is going to be lost, I need to find a way to treat it as a reference without actually treating it as a reference. That's the point. Store, there was like store to ref in view. Define refs. Using view reactivity primitives to create simple corrected perfectly fine. It's even described view docs. Okay. Not support view. The two possible issues in SRSR scenarios. Okay. Okay. What is this? Create an object of reference with all the state, plugin at the state properties store, similar to the two refs, but specifically designed for Pinia stores. Non-reactive properties are completely ignored. Create an object of references with all the state. So basically, it's going to use them. Okay, my question is, let's suppose that I'm going to, this is a reference, right? How about this? It's not nice. I don't plan to have a copy for every single one, but I need to like dereference it somehow because otherwise it's not going to work. This is still, no, wait, this is the proxy object. Okay. So this is the actual object that I have, right? This still doesn't work. Perfect. Now, what happens if I say that C is actually, like const C is actually a copy of this canvas, and then I'm going to do the operations on this, right? What's going to happen? Okay, this is not a function. It's not even a function. Unhandled execution, but this is like the main issue. See, get active object is not a function. Why though? Tell me more. There should have been here, right? This is this created the canvas probably without no, there are also information about the fabric canvas. So you have also reference for the upper canvas elements and so on and so forth. So here it has objects. So it's ideally it should also have like the get active the get active object, right? It should have it. Okay, so let's suppose that we have this canvas get active object, right? In this case, we are going to have let me see what's going to happen. See, request render, of course, is not a function. This canvas. Okay. Okay, so this one is the active object, and it's also a proxy. Okay. So maybe I don't want to have const c as this thing, but I want to have this canvas get active object, and then c to group. I don't think this is going to work as I want it to. No, in fact, this one is. What is the to group doing actually in here? So we have the get active object, right? There are typings and stuff. So to active selection, ungroup and to group, right? There is the to group. Change the active selection to a normal group. So this thing doesn't work if we treat stuff as a reference. How do we not do that though? The only other way that I can think of, and I feel bad also for thinking even about this, is to use something that we know is not going to change during the refresh, and this is like a global. This is a global option. And yes, I feel bad about this. I really do. Let's suppose that we are going to do that for a moment. So we have the canvas. We have the canvas basically everywhere. Now, the thing about the canvas though is we don't want to use this canvas anymore. What we are going to do is we are going to assume that the window canvas is going to exist, right? I mean, we don't have to assume that either. Like we can simply say that the canvas is like the window, because this one will keep it. This one will keep it as an object without transforming it into a proxy. And if we don't have it, then we do this. Okay, this is fine. So the only assumption that I need to have at the very beginning is can you just not complain about this? Can you yes, ignore, please? Thanks. I will put it there, don't worry. So okay, and I am also checking if there is no canvas. Okay, then probably I don't even need to do that anyway, so I can just canvas to group. Like the reason why I don't want to do it is, of course, like doing stuff globally like this is bad. It's just bad. It's not recommended. It should not be done like this. But honestly, at this point, I have a hard time in figuring out a different way of doing it because it's like literally it's missing stuff. It's literally missing stuff. So canvas active selection. I mean, whatever. Like we can have it in here. Now the thing is, we also need to consider that the SVG store doesn't have it anymore. But we should have a getter from here. Maybe it's better to have a getter. So where is it? Getters, SVGs, get canvas, right? Get canvas. This will return the window canvas. Okay, where is the TS ignore? Please stop complaining. Okay, Now SVG store canvas. How many of them? Not so many. Get cam. Oh wait. First of all, we need to set it. This is not the way we are going to set it. We are going to say. Wait. Too many things. Window canvas is equal canvas. Okay. Yes, I know you're unhappy about it, but now it will be fine. It will be fine. So this is one way, one thing to do, and the other one is in here, right? What is this? The property panel. Property panel, get canvas. If it's there, get canvas. And if it's there, we are going to do it. Now, another thing is canvas value, right? There are quite a few of them. Yeah, they are everywhere. Canvas value, the reason for the canvas value is because it's a reference, right? So we already had it in here as a reference. And that's not cool. That's not cool. So what I'm, because we are setting it and then we are saying, do I really need to care about that though? If I'm setting it in here, should be fine, right? Is it because the canvas? No, it should not, right? Because that updates the context options, but then, I mean, it should not affect it directly. Let's see first of all. Okay, as get canvas is not a function. Get canvas is not a function. Let me see some example. Pinia store getters options API. Let me see something here. So getters. Okay, state returns this. Fine. Okay, I can change it to that notation. So getters, we're going to have a canvas, which is a function that gives us back. That's right. Okay. And then how do I call it? Double count, right? Double count. Double count. Oh, okay, it's not a function. Okay, I get it. It's like a computer property. Is it going to, I don't know, because it's going to have it react probably to a state. This is going to get messy. I would rather have it as a function probably, rather than a getter, because the getter needs to have the reactivity. And since it's on a window, it's never going to have it. So I'd rather have it simply as a function. Let's see. Okay. And it works. So that confirms my guess about it. So global is bad. We should not do it globally. I will still do it globally. I have no other options right now, because what we have is we have the view environment, right? So since I'm using Next, I'm not even instantiating the view environment. So I'm not saying, okay, view mount on top of some existing div. So one option is like view tree mount on div or something. And where is it? Like the first time when you start the application, you actually mount it onto something, right? You have the div ID app, and I cannot find any example in here right now. Yeah. So in here, right? You started a new application and you say, okay, I'm going to mount it on top of this element with this ID, and then you start your view application, you start creating your component and whatnot. The problem is that with this, you would be able, at least this was like the version 2, version 3, I mean, doesn't change that much, right? You could just create the app in here and then you mount it. In this case, what you can do is you can actually create variables that are outside of here. Now, with Next, basically everything is already like a page. It's already part of the view application. So if I want to do something like that, I need to either use, I think, plugins or something around those lines. But everything I'm doing inside of the store, everything I'm doing inside of a component, everything is basically either a reference. So somehow it like being a reference means that it will survive to the next refresh because the component will refresh. So otherwise, if it's not a reference, I'm going to lose the pointer to the canvas, for example. So I cannot use it like that. I cannot use it like that. Any other way to do it? Any other way to do it? Well, I will probably have to think over that because I don't know right now. But this here right now it works exactly as I'm expecting it to. You see. So if I'm saying, okay, I want to have this, and then I want to have this, I want to group all of them together, and they are a group right now, and they are scaling also, and I can do all the operations with them as a group. So this is exactly how I wanted it to work. And the ideal case would be with the canvas in here being a reference inside of the store, okay? But I am not able to make it with this. If anybody has like an idea or something, I'm open to suggestions. But as of now, having it as a window global object appears to be the only way in order to not have it as a proxy, so not have it as a reference, and therefore not being able to use some stuff inside of it, like the controls in here. So I would say that as of now, I'm pretty happy of how these things it's turning out. The only thing that I may want to say is, okay, this is not when I'm doing this, it's not reflecting on the layers, right? So whenever I'm doing this, where is the update layer function, right? Oh, it's already here. So nice. This is so nice. So let's just call the update layers. Let's just call the update layers also in here, right? And this should change, hopefully, the layer structure. Yes, perfect. So we have the circle and the ellipse that are part of the group right now. We are going to put everything into a group, and now, yeah, that's exactly how I wanted it to work. Yeah, and this is the only movable one. So if I ungroup something in here right now, yeah, this is going to ungroup. It's nothing is selected, so the properties are disappearing. But as you can see, we can have this. We can move them around. We don't have the ordering right now. We don't have the ordering, but that's for the next time probably. As of now, I'm pretty happy with what we did. It doesn't seem like much have changed. Let me see. Package JSON. We added the view draggable. We are very happy about that. Layer panel. Let's see. This is yeah. Most of this stuff is useful. The log part is not. Oh, why are you here? Oh, I see. Wait, this one I want to leave a to-do here. To-do use for reordering. Yeah, so this one is the function that we actually, instead of logging, we are going to use to reorder stuff. Let's see what else have we modified. We have the property panel. What did we change? Oh yeah, of course, we are taking the canvas from instead from the SVG store, we are taking it from the window. This is fine. I already feel bad about it. So 3 scene. The scene is okay. Store SVG. I know what we change. Use context menu. We created this entire thing. Pages test. I don't need it anymore. I hope we will not need it anymore. Discard all the changes. You know what? I'm just going to delete it manually because I'm not 100% sure. Whenever I'm reading that, I'm like, are you going to really discard everything? Like, what? Anyway, so this is good. This is fine. And yeah, and grouping and ungrouping. Yeah. And this is fine. This is fine. This one I can also delete already. Okay, that's great. We did a couple of hours today, and I will probably go for dinner now. Yeah, if I have time, maybe I'll be back later. And eventually, what I want to do next, if I'm back later, is probably like improve this layer thing in here, and also like being able to change the ordering, right? Ordering, and we also have like the double click to change the name, or maybe we will have something else in here, like they have it. You see, like these icons here. Maybe we have something like that to change the name. I don't know. We will see. We will see. But yeah, I think that's it.